Good morning, everyone. Today, VEENA from KHS High School. Okay, I'm there with the new topic, that new education policy 2020. It's quite new. Even if you see the years, it is 2020, but still it is quite new because it is not into the roots of the education till now. So let us learn about this policy in detail. First of all, we'll look into the agenda that we are going to learn today. We are going to discuss the vision and key principles, the universal access and early childhood education, how children will learn, curricular and pedagogic structures, curriculum, learning outcome and competencies, schools complex accreditation, teachers education and development, NEP, the new features, key focus area, that's equity, gender and the children with special needs. Then we have the goals and implementation plan. Okay, so the first slide, vision. An education system that contributes to an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all children. This national education policies envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contributes directly to transforming India, that is Bharat, sustainable into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all and thereby making India a global knowledge superpower. The policy emphasizes that the curriculum and pedagogy of our institutions must develop among the students a deep sense of respect towards the fundamental duties and constitutional values, bonding with one's country and a conscious awareness of one's roles and responsibilities in a changing world. The vision of the policy is to instill among the learners a deep-rooted pride in being Indian, not only in thought but also in spirit, intellect and deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skills, values and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development and living, and global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizens. Now this is the vision of NEP 2020. We will be discussing about the key principles. Respect for diversity and local context in all curriculum, pedagogy and policy. Equity and inclusion. Just now we have learned how we need to inculcate some values in all the children. Now whether these children are of special needs or the children are the gifted ones. Then we have community participation. We have encouragement and facilitation for philanthropic and private and community participation. Here not only at individual level, here we are looking into the community participation as well. So here our role is, it's widened. Not only as teachers, our role is we have to exaggerate our own duties ourselves and we need to look into far-reaching outcomes. Use of technology in teaching and learning. Our Prime Minister has said vocal for local. He has also talked about digital India. So you'll be seeing that all these features are a key point, the key principle topic of multilingualism. And we have seen the importance of bilingual, multilingual, and the importance why, because it affects the child's learning. So here we need not force the child to say cat as cat. Let the child learn cat as Billy, or let that child learn cat in their mother tongue. No problem. Here the main important focus is the child's learning. So here we need to go for multilingualism, because if we learn by multilingualism, it separates, there is no barrier like English and Hindi and then some regional languages. So this barrier needs to be broken, because ultimately the child has to go for higher studies. For Divyang students, we have learned about the students with special needs, Divyang, and in educational planning and management. So the planning and management is as in a way that will focus on the needs of the learning of both the categories of the children. Emphasize conceptual understanding. So this is the favorite of all the teachers. Why? Because rather than rote learning and learning for exams, we are making the child learn for life. We are not making that the child will forget after a year or maybe after one day he will forget. No, it's not that. Because we are preparing the child for life. And we are also moving away from rote learning. Because the child, they learn. What they are learning, they don't know. As we have seen in the movie Student of the Year, Rattaman. They just ratify whatever, but what they are doing, is it applicable in their next life, later life? They don't know. Why? Because they don't know the meaning of what they are learning. So here special focus is given. Then we have unique capabilities. In a class, whether 40, 250, whatever the number is, in all the classes you will find some students who are very slow learners, and then some students who are very quick. They are so quick that even when you speak, they are ready with the answer. So now here you have to make a balance of these two. The gifted ones and at the same time the students with special learning abilities. NEP has like program for all these things. Different programs for the gifted ones, for the special needs ones. Critical thinking and creativity. So now this is again moving when the children move away from the rote learning, they develop this. They critically analyze whatever the situation, whatever the problem is. Okay, it's something like if you give them one math sum, Ram has 4 apples and he has eaten 2. The child can come. Why he will eat only 2? Why he cannot eat all 4? You know, so at least some thinking is going on, some working is going on. So, and when I say critically thinking children, what we want them to is critically examine. What we are saying, is that right or wrong? Maybe all the teachers, so we the teachers, we always say right things only, the good things only. But there are many sources of learning for the children. It's not only the children are learning from the teachers, they are learning from very different things. You have YouTube, you have other platforms where the child is gaining knowledge. Whether the knowledge is applicable, is it relatable, is it important, and can he use that knowledge? So what age he has to think about that particular information, that particular knowledge, what he is supposed to do with that. So he has to critically examine. And creativity. When we give projects, we find the children, some of them bringing beautiful and innovative ideas into the project. Okay, they and continuous review based on sustained research and regular assessment by educational experts. So here, it's not a enclosed box. Here, after every span of years, there will be constant reviews how we are going to move forward. Here are certain universal access to education at all levels. Now here we are talking about the education levels. So we have learning outcomes. So we are focusing on how learning outcomes. So we all know while we write our lesson plans that special focus is given on what is the learning outcome. Build schools. Here build schools does not mean that we are making another school. Okay. Here you are going to empower the schools. Okay. You are promoting both government and non-governmental philanthropic organizations to build schools. Multiple pathways to learning. So this, as we have discussed, the child does not learn only from one source. There are different ways also by learning. Different ways of learning, and the child is free to learn from whichever way he is comfortable. Both from formal and non-formal education modes. Bring back dropouts. Now this dropouts means the children who leave the school, who drop out, who do not continue their studies, okay, who do not continue their schooling. So now here we have to focus on bringing those children into the school so that they also learn. Alternative centers. Now apart from school, some centers are created in such a way that the children they have the access to these schools. Peer tutoring. So peer means friend circles. Suitable for all categories, business and personal presentation. Now, why this? Some of you can question, why this NEP? One more NEP? Why? So there are certain expected outcomes. As we go into the classroom and we have LOs, we have outcomes, learning outcomes we expect. So here are some outcomes which are expected from this current NEP. First one is universalization of access. Means everyone, whether village or town or big cities or regional background, language barriers, so everyone has the access to studies. Ensure equity and inclusion. We'll have the activity on next day. So for focusing on this, equity and inclusion, we will find that the equal weightage has to be given to all the children in the classroom. Whether he is in the classroom or not, that is also a big question. But then there also you have to focus. Maybe not as a school you can focus, but definitely when I say that you are a part of a community, you need to focus. Equity and inclusion. You have to include the child. Today we have just two categories. We say boys and girls, and we don't talk about the other transgenders. Here the focus is given to them also. Bring back 2 crores out of school children. Now this is, we are talking about the dropouts and the students who have never seen the campus of a school. Attain SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Now here, as a wise and educated, philosophers, we the teachers, we need to focus, we need to ensure that our development, we need to teach them that this should be sustainable. Means it's not that you are going to use whatever you are having, you are going to look into for the next generation or needs another session of this to be taken by the Roboshi teacher. Focus on 21st century skills, that's teaching, learning and assessment. We have resource sharing, school complexes. Now this is a different, a unique plan by NEP. Here the schools are sharing their complex. Like maybe some schools they do not have playground, but if your school is having playground, and maybe in your school there is one best teacher, and maybe in that school they don't have so competency teachers, so we can share. Okay, so now that is we are making complex. So the whole complex means some of the schools they get together and work accordingly. Effective governance, separation of powers and common norms. Here powers and norms are, divided. Overcoming the language barrier in learning. So I have said you how multilingualism is focused. And then we have common standards for public and private school education. We feel proud when we say my son is studying in dash and dash English medium schools. So whether we say or we don't say, there is something at the back that says, okay, government schools are not so well equipped. So here this division has to be changed. One common standard has to be platform. Transforming, some changing. So just to make some of you awake, short story, not even story, something for you, Vidame. There was a couple, very lovely couple. Okay, they were loving each other very much. Like if one asked also, the other one is ready to do anything and everything for them. Okay, and today the world is techno, WhatsApp, mobile. Okay, so anytime the husband messages the wife answered. Okay, when they were not into conversation to their mobiles. Fine. One day they had some misunderstanding. It usually happens. Those who are married, they know this. Every time it happens. So, poor husband, he had to go out of station one day. So, he asked his wife. He gave a message through WhatsApp to his wife. He kindly wake me up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. He gave the WhatsApp message to the wife and he had full faith. My wife will make me awake. मुझे तो उठानी देगी. So with that, belief, he went to sleep and the next morning when he is getting up, he is getting at 7 o'clock. He missed the train. Okay, what has gone wrong? My wife, she was so loving. Now she has changed entirely, this and that. He had a lot, grudges inside his brain. So he took out his mobile and he saw exactly at 5 o'clock. The wife also has messaged him, get up, it's 5 o'clock now. So children and dear teachers, some of things need to be changed. Sometimes they don't work out. We need to change. So here, some changes have brought into the curricular and pedagogical structure. If you see, previously we had 10 plus 2, 1 to 10 and then 11 and 12. Now the structure has been changed into 5 plus 3 and 4. The bottom ones, if you look at it, it is 2 years and 3 years. 3 years is the foundational. 5 years is altogether the foundational structure. Then we have 3 years for 3 to 5. And then we have 3 years of 6 to 8. And the last one, 9 to 12. Now they are grouped. So now this is 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus 3 I learn. Okay, I see, I forget. Okay, I hear, I forget. So what I hear, I forget. I see, okay, sometimes it remembers, sometimes you not. But when you do, I remember. So here, doing this activity based is very important. So the child will be learning this thing for his entire life. The 3 years, that is preparatory. Here the focus is given on the child's learning as he is preparing himself for the life. So the first 3 activities here, they are focused on play, discovery and activity-based and interactive classroom learning. See, the switch is away from the rote learning. You see, there are different ways that are emphasized into this platform. Then we have the very important middle stage. Experiential learning in the science, mathematics, arts, social science and humanities. So here these are the fields in which the child will be given extra focus, main focus. And then the later stage, that is secondary stage, that is of 4 years, it's multidisciplinary study. Means there are different category wise study. Greater critical thinking, flexibility and student choice of subject. So as we have earlier seen that if you have taken science, you have to stick to science. If you have taken arts, oh, he is going to be that only. So in that way, oh, commerce. So something at the subconscious mind, it is there in everybody's head. Now that will be changed if this plan is actually work.
I'll take this over from VEENA from here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Just take it. So what is the most important change that you have noticed here that has happened? Sankita?
So the structure.
What is that structure?
So the grade levels, I guess.
So what has happened? What was not there? What has come in? Or what's different that they are talking about here? Mario, earlier there was only exams, board exams for 10 and 12. Now they have made a section of 5, 3, 3 plus 4. That's one part.
Another is the language.
Yes.
The language. The flexibility and the dynamic changes that are being brought up here. Like it is the choice of the subjects that they want to deal with. It's not just the repetitive subjects which has to be compulsory taught to all students.
The choice of subjects.
As far as the language.
Language.
Yes. Primarily people focus on the language like English, Gujarati, Kashmiri, English. If the child is understanding or not, we are not looking. We were focused, but we were focusing more on English other than their understanding.
So in the previous level of stages of learning, the school assessed from standard 1 till 10 and there was no differentiation between what the level of acquisition the school has completed for that particular session. But according to NEP level learning stages, at the first early 5 stages, the student will be able to crack the foundational learning stage, the literacy and numeracy levels, and after that, the student will be prepared for the multidisciplinary levels. And that's so the school is assessed on that level, that the school has acquired the foundational stage and then the multidisciplinary level of acquisition, and then the child is prepared to choose the subjects.
Perfect. That's the most important change that has happened. Earlier, the LKG, UKG, the age group of 3 years was not included into our mainstream education. Right? It was not even talked about and there was no stress. Here now, it's the most important stress is given to this level where they say that here the basic aim would be to finish the as we have said the learning levels here. So your best and the most important teachers have to be here. Because that they have said that it is taught that till here, till this level is the level where the child learns. Child obeys, child listens, you can mold the child. Right? So this becomes your the most basic foundation is to be given here. Right? That the numeracy, the literacy level, that he is able to read, write, speak the particular language and understands the basic mathematics of division, multiplication, tables and all that stuff. He understands the word problems and he is able to comprehend them and solve them. It is at this level that he's talking about, and this is the most important level, and that's the most significant change that the education has done, and it is talked a lot about the child care education system. Right? And then here it is gone to multidisciplinary as to what all would be happening in the middle stage and others is the other. So what basically it is talking about is your teaching abilities and your, the inflow of information is going to change. You will have to teach. We have talked about in the primary last year, you already 2 years back before the corona hit, about multiple intelligence. So it is also talking about that in various ways you will have to teach and play with method that the child learns the way he wants to learn. Right? So your method, why am I again stressing on this, is that when you come back, your HODs and you will be sitting with portion. You will be sitting with syllabus. In that syllabus and in that portion, you will have to plan your activities now. You cannot wait for your activities कि जब पहुंचेंगे, then हम देखेंगे, तब हम सोचेंगे, तब हम करेंगे. That will not happen. You will have to all these stages, these levels, all this will have to plan their activities now. You will have to sit down, take your time. That is why I have given here activity for 10 days. Or you will start planning as soon as your corrections are asking over. The HOD will call that team and they have to start sitting and planning. If you don't plan, you will not be able to do it. And if you don't plan, I don't get those plans, you will keep doing it until it's as satisfied. You getting the idea? Okay? You will have very clear as to what needs to be done here. So you will have to plan a number of activities here in the lesson. So you will have to say that, okay, now this is the lesson, these are the chapters, these are the basic fundamental things that I need to teach. And that's it. I need not teach the entire book. I need not teach the entire syllabus of the book. I will draft a syllabus. What are the basic things that need to be done? We will do that throughout the year. You getting that? You will have to sit, plan, write down the activities, write down the things and plan it out, all your syllabus. And then the whole ABC section follows that. Getting? So that's the change that is going to happen in this particular year 23-24. That is why this NEP is talking about, and that is how the flow of learning will happen. Getting? Even in the senior classes, one lab period is given. I am telling you what planning that we have done. One lab period is given. In that lab period, 4 sections will get the lab period at the same time. Say Friday, 3rd period, standard 6, A, B, C, D, all have got the lab period. 1 week the child or the team will go to adult tinkering lab. A section goes to adult tinkering lab. section goes to physics lab, C section goes to chemistry lab, D section goes to bio lab. The next week it changes. It goes rotation. So that every month the child goes to all the 4 labs. And he has the ability and he is able to understand and see what are the equipment there, which are the equipments to see, how to. Right? Right? That is important because we did, I am telling you, if we, Ashok, if I take a 10th standard student and give him vernier caliper, he will be able to use it. So you are understanding the problem with the present education system that we are having? A 10th standard child, he gives him a vernier caliper, physics ka hi hai na tool, chemistry ka tool hai. Physics ka tool. Vernier caliper, he will not be able to use it. Right? He will not know how the screw gauge is working. We will have to introduce that. We will have to take them out and do this. You will have to plan that out. A social teacher, social study teacher, if he is teaching plants, will have to plan one period that I will take them to the garden and I will make them work in the garden. You will have to plan that, write it. So already you will find all that things, whatever had come as a universal plan, we will already done that. We are trying to do that as a system. But the main crux will be done by the HOD and by the teachers. By all of you. Understood? So this what VEENA is explaining is very important. You need to understand this crux as to what HOD is talking about. How it's going to inflow into the school. We will do activities of it on 3rd of April when we will be doing more about it. What is there here? Right? Continue.
Thank you, sir, for throwing the extra light that the teachers need to prepare themselves for the next session. So, FLN. My next slide is Attainment of Foundational Literacy and Numeracy by Grade 3 in Mission Mode. Just now, as in detail, we have learned how it's very important up to standard 3, how they are going, it's grade 3, how they are going to develop the different skills. So the first one is foundational skills, that is universal acquisition of foundational learning skills. Now here I am using the word universal. That means we are going beyond the schools. We are going into the community. We are talking about the India which is mostly in rural areas. The India which has never seen a school. So more focus is given there. National mission is set up. Now this is especially for foundational literacy and numeracy. Sometimes we see that the child has passed, okay, standard 10. But then the general thing which a class 5 student or class 7 student needs to know, the child is unaware of that. Maybe he has passed the subject, but he is not having that complete knowledge of that. So here this is for them. Okay, foundational literacy and numeracy must be into the veins. Book promotion. National book promotion policy will be formulated and public and school libraries will be expanded. You know, very common we see that we have community library and very rare we see that we are making use of that public library. Even school library we don't see the children using too much. But then this public library means it's not necessary that you are a part of a school. Like me, you, anyone can be seen in the last slide. Then we have 3-month play-based school. You have 3 months where preparation module for all grade 1 students. So that means you are not making them read anything, you are not making them write anything, but definitely you are making them learn. So here more focus is given on their learning. Then we have National Repository. We are very, we know now what is Diksha, what is Vayam, what is Nistha. Now this has to be more and more in detail reaching towards the students. So National Repository. If you have opened Diksha app, you must have seen that there are books are also. You will be finding books, whichever classes books, but the child can easily access that. We the teachers also we do that, and this has to be more elaborate, and the child also needs to make use of these books, which are available as resources on Diksha. School libraries, including digital libraries, to be living great. So digital library means online, offline, all the modes are available. Now we are talking about the curriculum. See, reduction in curriculum. It's something like, thank God, syllabus come ho gaya. Now the children are so happy when you say, the children we have removed 2 chapters of it. Now they are so happy when they see, yes, the syllabus has been revised. Now here we are just twisting the word and making it as reduction in curriculum. So what are those? The first one is core essentials. Now there are many things we often as a teacher also we wonder why this is there in the book, what the child needs to do with this. So here we want to make the child learn those things which are more important for him in his later life. So here only the important things will be there. Okay? Then critical thinking. Just as I have said, the child, whatever he learns or whatever he sees, he has to critically examine. One news has come into the news there was something. Now the child has to know whether that news, whether that piece of information, whether is it important for me, whether I am suitable for that news, should I watch that particular thing. So the child has to critically examine in his own way. Okay, he has to think twice. So focus on critical thinking, inquiry. You need to inquire. The child needs to develop this habit of inquiry. So many times we see the good ones, they ask us, ma'am, what is this? And we are very happy. Yes, that child was asking me. He is very intelligent. Now we have to expand this. We have to make every child ask this. Okay, inquiry, that enthusiastic, extra information, they have to be ready for that. Discovery, discussion and analysis based teaching and learning methods for holistic education. So discussion has some important topics which are related in day-to-day life, and in science especially the analysis based teaching. The children, they know once when you do some whatever practicals into the labs, and the child is very curious to learn, and once he sees that, he is able to grasp easily. So here the focus is given more on these topics. Interactive classes. Interactive teaching with reduced dependency on textbook learning. So I repeat this again. Interactive teaching. Sir has been always focusing on this word, interactive teaching, with reduced dependency. We don't call gut teaching that you are reading line by line and you are explaining. You are reading line by line and you are explaining. No, that's not teaching. So you just remove the book. Let the book, okay, as some knowledge center where you are getting some part, okay, this part has to be taught to the child. Now it is might be what I and how I am going to explain to the child. So, interactive teaching with reduced dependency as we have talked in the last part inquiry, we will be, promoting the students who questions. Now, promoting means we are going to make more and more students participate in the same way by putting some of the other questions. Now, however silly or however useful the question, that's nothing matters. But we are making the child think that matters. Next, we have experiential learning. That's fun, creative. The children will love, fun, creative, collaborative, and exploratory activities in classroom for experiential learning and deeper student learning. So here you see, in this part, everything is activity based, fun based. So it makes the child learn. When the child sees book, even it's something, the child sees the thickness of the book. जैसे इतना मोटा कि मेरे दिमाग में आएगा. So now that book is no bar. The child is going to learn through all activity methods. And so, playway method you can learn. Now it's not that in class 7 you cannot do playway method. And it is not that in only in class 1 or 2 you will be doing playway method. Nothing, there is no barrier as such. Focus on LOs, learning outcomes, competencies and subject integration. So competency-based education, here modules on preparing and implementing pedagogical plans based on competency and outcome-based education for school leaders. Competency. We want to make the child competent of whatever he is learning so that he can acquire, he can use, he can apply that knowledge into his life. Integration of subjects. Through art integrated, sports integrated, ICT integrated and storytelling based pedagogy among others as standard pedagogy. So here these are the different ways in which we are going to restructure our teaching learning process. Development of scientific temper. Development of scientific temper and inculcation of knowledge and practice of human and constitutional values such as patriotism, sacrifice, non-violence, truth, honesty, peace. Now all these topics you will find in SST textbooks. All these topics you find in English textbooks, in Hindi textbook. But it is not that you cannot relate maths into this. You can definitely relate. It's not that you cannot relate science with this. You can relate. Okay, so the correlated subject knowledge has been focused here. Okay, why? Why? Because we are making the child develop into scientific temper, that temperament. Like scientific base, whatever he is thinking, whatever he is learning, whatever he is reading, he is going to calculate in his own mind. Okay? Then, no SIL goes among subjects or learning. Now, what is this SIL? No hard separation between curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular. There is no hard separation between academic and vocational. No hard separation between science and humanities. And you don't find any separation in sports, arts and academics. It's a usual trend. During Olympics, during Commonwealth, we are very happy when we see, oh, India got one medal. Wow, gold medal, India got one. With one you are so happy. How many games period are there in your timetable? How are you focusing? How are you going to balance? When the child is going So Digital India, the concept improvised by our PM. So we want the children to be digitally literate. He can handle coding. So all these things he can make use so that he can, when he goes for higher education, he has different, he's getting the idea from different backgrounds and he can opt for any of those. Promotion of multilingual teaching, this we have gone just now. Promoting states to enter into bilateral agreements with nearby states to hire language teacher. Suppose a teacher is good in Hindi, and let's take an example of Orissa. There are good teachers of Hindi in Orissa also, but maybe by any means our teacher, if they go into other state and other state's teacher will come into our state and like vice versa. So it is something like the knowledge is more, you can say, the child will easily learn. Okay, so this was the thing. Mental and physical health and well-being. Mandatory for the children to acquire skills in health and nutrition. Why only the mother will say, "Beta roti kha lo, you are anemic." Why? The child should learn. Let us see how. Health checkups. There will be annual health checkups for all students. Reduce weight of school bags. Thanks to our principal sir for he has planned bagless days in our school. Okay, so we can say he is the exact person. Okay, who is implementing anything. So reduce weight of school bags and textbooks through suitable changes in curriculum and pedagogy. Mandatory skills, health and wellness. Now here it has to be imbibed by all students. Health, nutrition, physical education, fitness, wellness, sports. In addition, basic training in preventive healthcare, mental health, first aid, professional and public hygiene will be included in the curriculum. Then we have hiring counselors. In many of the schools you don't find this, the counselors. Okay, now it is very, very important need of the time. So state governments will be encouraged to hire adequate number of counselors and teachers to be shared across school complex. Focus on children with disability. Differentiated interventions and suitable infrastructure development at schools to make access easier for children with disability. One very common, very common one, like we have steps, CD. So we need to develop something ramp. Now if there is a ramp, the person who is not able to walk or they can make use of that ramp and they can complete their schooling. Then we have inclusive and caring culture at school. The role and expectations of principal and teachers will explicitly include developing a caring and inclusive culture at school. I have discussed how inclusive means we are including the people who are not included till now. Okay, including and caring culture at schools. We are not looking down upon somebody. We are making, actually my activity was based on this topic, so we'll see later. Innovative pedagogy, transforming teaching learning process. So since ages, the teachers have taught and the students have learned. Since ages, from Rishi Muni until today the present age. But there has to be some innovative idea that will transform learning process. Okay? So, experiential learning, focus on experiential inquiry
मैंने एज ए इवैल्यूएशन एक दो बच्चों को खड़ा किया जो बैक बेंचर्स हैं या जो थोड़े स्लो लर्नर्स हैं। जब मैंने उनको उठाया तो जब मैंने उनसे क्वेश्चन किया तो कारक तो क्या, वो संज्ञा तक नहीं जानते। तो वो कारक और संज्ञा शब्दों से कारक बाकी शब्दों को कैसे वो कनेक्ट करेंगे वो उनको नहीं पता था। संज्ञा ही नहीं पता है तो कारक विशेषण वो सब उनको बताना बहुत मुश्किल। उस समय मुझको लगा कि मेरा सारा पढ़ाना बेकार चला गया।
फिर आपने क्या किया?
फिर उसके बाद मैंने नेक्स्ट क्लास में, क्योंकि क्लास तो उस समय खत्म होने का समय हो गया था, जब मैंने नेक्स्ट क्लास में जब आई तो मुझे फिर से उन बच्चों को अलग बैठाना पड़ा। मैंने क्लास को 2 पार्ट में डिवाइड किया। फिर मैंने बच्चों से पूछा कि किसको संज्ञा पता है या नहीं पता है। जब मैंने जो पिछले के जो टॉपिक्स थे तो संज्ञा हुआ या विशेषण हुआ, उनसे उन टॉपिक उन बच्चों को नहीं समझ में आया था, उन बच्चों को मैंने अलग बैठाया। और अलग बैठाने के बाद फिर मैंने उन्हीं से क्रॉस क्वेश्चंस करना शुरू किया। मैं नहीं पढ़ा रही थी उस क्लास में, मैंने नहीं पढ़ाया। उसके बाद जो गुड स्टूडेंट्स हैं जिनका कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर था, उन स्टूडेंट्स को मैंने पूछा कि आप उनका कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर, आप उनको एग्जाम्पल बताइए और आप उनसे क्वेश्चन कीजिए कि संज्ञा क्या है या संज्ञा को बाकी शब्दों से कैसे जोड़ना है, वाक्य कैसे फ्रेम करना है, कारक चिन्हों का प्रयोग कहाँ पे होगा, किस तरह से होगा। तो इस तरह से दूसरा जो मेरा क्लास था एक्सप्लेनेशन, वो बहुत इंटरैक्टिव रहा और तब बच्चों को कारक समझ में आया।
वेरी गुड मैम। ये कौन सा क्लास था?
ये स्टैंडर्ड 5A था।
5. So thank you for sharing. Dear teachers, we all get this type of incidents in our classroom very often. You know, हम समझा के थक जाते हैं and then we find कि वो बच्चा ने सिर्फ 1 मिनट उसका लिया और वो समझ गया। Yes ma'am, समझ में आ गया। So this happens. Okay, sometimes we notice, sometimes we don't notice, right? So this is peer tutoring, means the child. Many a times we have made SGA, that is small group activity. We have made children, few groups, 4 to 5 children in a group, and then we make the concept explain, and we find that the children learn through that way very easily. The next one is equal weightage. Okay, no hard separation between curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular areas. So here our special teachers like Sama sir, Tumpa, they will be very happy. We are also getting an equal weightage now. Now, was it a necessity? Yes, it was a necessity. And it's very important that all these categories have been, mingled. Freedom of choosing a variety of subject combinations should be provided. Till now it was, beta क्या लेगा? Science, beta क्या लेगा? Commerce. Very often and very rarely, sometimes we find in some schools, beta क्या ले रहा है? तो arts. Okay, but there are many. When we get the board exam schedule, we see a number of subjects are there. Okay, now these subjects are focused. Now more weightage, more importance will be given on these subjects which are new. क्या शामानुल सर ज़्यादा खुश हैं ये जानकर कि करिकुलर और एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर को करिकुलर अब सब बराबर है। बट हमने बनने कहाँ दिया बराबर सर? हाँ, अब बनना है। So bagless days. Can you imagine the happiness of the children? आज बैग नहीं ले जाना है. They will run and they will come to school. Bagless days to be scheduled in academic calendar. Okay. No bags. So then, what for the children are coming to school? why you're not doing your work, your textbook, your homework copy, your classwork copy. You know, होना चाहिए. उसके बगैर how can you come to school? What will be your plans if you see the child? Yes, University teacher. Yes. Yes, activity-based learning can be done in those days where the bags are not to be brought by the children. Use and integration of technology. Integration of technology enable pedagogy in class 6 to 12. I hope the teachers are paying attention. सुपर टीचर आपकी इम्पोर्टेंस की बात हो रही है, आप ही की बात हो रही है. यूज ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन एंड टेक्नोलॉजी. नाउ व्हेन आई से टेक्नोलॉजी, व्हाट डज दैट मीन? I don't mean here the meaning of technology. We are talking how the children are going to make use of technology into the classroom. Now this is technology only how we are going to conduct our sessions. So we are going to make use of the children, yes, in the smart classes. Okay? Especially in the classes 6 to 12, where they imagine, they have started imagining and they can question, the rational thinking develops at this very age. Now this is textbook with local content and flavor. When I teach the children nationalism in Europe. Actually, one example, there are two chapters in SST. Nationalism in India and nationalism in Europe. We find the children learning nationalism in India very quickly. And it's very, very, very difficult for them to get the concept of the chapter nationalism in Europe. They to ask, ma'am, why we are learning about Europe? Something that is not so related, not so closely related with, then why? So that's why this change has come. We are going to inculcate more and more things which are local. Local means our local festivals, local leaders, local needs. And so what will happen? The child can quickly understand these things. Then we have affordable, high quality and energized textbooks to be provided along with free digital version on Diksha platform. The government is on to its marks to distribute books which are related, which are wanted and which are the needs of the children in schools. States to prepare their own curricula and textbooks based on NCERT curriculum and textbooks incorporating state flavor and material as needed. The local leaders, local festival, just now I have said. So here, not only one particular community, we are talking about the whole state as one. So what are the needs of the state? What are the problems? What are the benefits the state has? So all these things are to be focused when forming the textbook curriculum. Concerted efforts through suitable changes in curriculum and pedagogy to significantly reduce the weight of school bags and textbooks. So here changes in curriculum so that the bags where we call children to get textbook log, classbook log, so these all to be reduced. Okay. Reduce the weight of school bags and textbooks and even the weight of the textbook also. So that means the books are going to delete all the things which are not so necessary and including the things which are necessary and which are related to the child. India's future and India's leadership role in upcoming fields. Panini. Anyone who can answer me who is Panini? I hope Hindi teachers are here. Panini. No.
Scholar, I guess.
Oh. Yes, right, Pooja. Some more clear answer can come. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Susruta. Yes. Now, who has invented zero? So it was common, right? Aryabhat. Here, there are many big names which has which medicines in the fields of science, in the fields of mathematics, calculations, great contributions by Greek people, and many of them we find they are Indians. We need to focus. We need to make the child aware of these things. Why? Because once the child gets that connectivity, okay, India, if he gets some connection, some connection, and the child is easily learning that. They feel proud also. So these things, what we want them to learn that since ages, like it was much long before when we have heard Charak, Sushruta, Panini, Valmiki and all extra. These great people and today's generation, there is a big gap. So we need to make that some developmental, knowledgeable tools where you find these people to be related with the child. And when the child relates themselves, the learning is quite easier. And not only learning, the child will develop something of their own also, some creativity of their own also. So how? The first one is computational thinking, increased emphasis on mathematics and computational thinking throughout the school years. We have computational thinking again with activities involving coding will be introduced in middle stage. Digital India will come only when the child learns coding, when the child is given enough access to the hardware and software, where the child himself takes interest to learn all these things. And so when he takes interest, he will develop, bring a change. Mathematical thinking and problem solving. Inculcate mathematical thinking and problem solving to a variety of innovative methods, including the regular use of puzzles and games. So these all things are to be included. Why? By playing only the child will learn. Then we have AI, including contemporary subjects in schools. Now, at the middle and secondary stage, we find artificial intelligence. We have heard the child, he has developed such a bike, modified the bike in such a way that without helmet you cannot start the bike. Yes, we have seen the child doing that stick with a belt for the blind. Okay, so the child has developed all these things. It's not that high-end scientist has developed. No, the children themselves are developing. Now, why? It is due to the able guidance of the teachers like you that the children are developing all these things. Now, at middle and secondary stage, when they learn to do these things, artificial intelligence, design thinking, holistic health, organic living, environmental education, global citizenship education. So not only these, apart from this, from self to the eternal. So here we find the children learning about holistic health, organic living, environmental education. So he has to be conscious about the environment in which he is. citizenship. You cannot make the child that he is only of one country and he has to be only in this country. He has to think about the other country. हो सकता है वो उस country में जिंदगी भर नहीं जाए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, but still he has to think, because in today's world we find that the global concept has developed, the global world. Whatever happens in one country, it affects the other country also, whether positive, whether negative. So the child needs to be a global citizen, and this education has to be provided to the child. So again, knowledge of India. I'll give a minute. Please go through the slides. I hope all can view the slide.
Varsha teacher,
Can you come here and read the slide for the people who might not be able to view it? Anyone? Thank you, Tracy.
Knowledge of India, video documentaries on inspirational luminaries of India in science and beyond. Students will be given a logical framework for making ethical decisions at a young age. In later years, expanded along themes of cheating, violence, plagiarism, littering, tolerance, equality and empathy. Traditional Indian values and all basic human and constitutional values will be developed in all students. Experts from Indian Constitution will also be considered essential reading for all students. Basic training in health, mental health, good nutrition, personal and public hygiene, disaster response and first aid will also be included. Will be incorporated in an accurate and scientific manner wherever relevant. Indian knowledge systems including tribal knowledge and indigenous and traditional ways of learning will be covered. Specific courses in tribal ethno-medical practices, forest management, traditional organic crop cultivation, natural farming, etc. will also be made available. Curriculum to include knowledge from ancient India to modern India as well as future aspirations. Scientific explanations of the detrimental and damaging effects of alcohol, tobacco and other drugs will be a part of the curriculum.
Thank you, Tracy. So now, the knowledge of India. How will it reach the children? So these are some of the ways Tracy has just said. Video documentaries on inspirational leaders of India in science and beyond, means in other fields too. Students will be given a logical framework. You are going to give them some type of questions. We usually give one value-based question in question paper. So what we make the child think rational. And today we find corruption at its utter level. We are very unhappy about it. But then, is it not that the people who are involved into corruption, they were also students someday? So now what has been, where is the gap? Why today we find that the child is not of the, oh, this is wrong and I am not going to do this. We don't want it. So now this we have to focus. We have to make the child aware. We make the child think about it. And I simply love it, being an SST teacher. Experts from the Indian Constitution. There are many points, many articles, many amendments in our constitutions, and the child is not at all aware. So now these things, some of the experts, a piece of that information will be given to the children. Basic training in health, mental health, good nutrition, personal and public hygiene. This has to be taught. One concept like Swachh Bharat, where we see that the children especially picking up any litter that is on the ground. Many classrooms we find the teachers taking an initiative and making that move. Then we have accurate and scientific manner. These things to be taught to the children. Indian knowledge system including tribal knowledge and indigenous and traditional way of learning. Actually, there are different ways of learning children. It is not that you have only reading and writing. So there are many tribal ways also, many traditional ways of learning. So we have to make the child learn through those ways. Specific courses in tribal ethno-medicinal practices, forest management, traditional organic crop cultivation, natural farming, etc. will also be made available. Just 2 years back, during the pandemic corona, we have seen that many people have turned away from the allopathy into the natural homeopathy, Ayurvedic. They have started taking steam, they have started eating some bacillus. Why? Because these things were not harmful and they were making the person fight with the pandemic, corona. I think it is still fresh in our mind, right? So, forest management, traditional organic crop cultivation. We have seen these years, it's a good turn. We find the educated, IIT and different people who are top in their field, they are switching back to organic farming. Means inorganic, say organic. Why? Because this is also giving a boost to the person's self plans, whatever he has made, and at the same time it is good even for the nature. Curriculum to include knowledge from ancient India to modern India as well as future aspiration. Kal, Aaj or Kal. Now we have to relate this. That India, a vast country, vast dimensions, vast aspirations, all these things are to be given to the child so that the child also develops and at the same time he can relate this history into the next history that he is going to make. Scientific explanation of the detrimental and damaging effects of alcohol, tobacco and other drugs will be a part of curriculum. Definitely we want to see our next generation alcohol free, tobacco free. So this is the step that has to be taken through NEP. Okay, so now we are switching to the examination pattern. How we are going to conduct the examination. In grade 1 to 8. Census assessment at key stages in class 3, 5 and 8 to track achievement. Definitely exams will be there, but then they are only for tracking the achievements. Okay, you are not going to tell that the child is passed or the child is failed. But still you need to track track how much they have achieved. Achievements of critical LO. When we write lesson plan, that LO, suppose we have given one example of LO as the child gives an example of some medicinal plants. So we want to see that the child is actually giving us the example. So we want to see that LO which we have kept in our lesson plans is actually working. So then, moving away from rote learning, okay, Rattamar, away from that, assessment of core concepts and knowledge, higher order skills, and its application in real life situation. We have seen our question papers are having case study. One case, one situation is given to the children, and the child has to relate, analyze, and answer the questions that are given. So here, this is thinking based. There is nothing to do with rote learning. So these types will be focused more and more. Results of school examination. Now, it will be used only for developmental purpose. We are not classifying that you are pass or you are fail. Just for developmental purpose. Because we also, with the teachers, we need to know that yes, we can bring the change. Continuous monitoring and improvement of the schooling system. So this was about the examination. So very soon we will be going into the details of the examination pattern. There are certain changes in standard 9 to 12. The first one, board exams will be made easier as they will test primarily 4 capacities and competencies. Now, board exam is easier. Viable models to be explored, annual semester modular exams. This one new concept that's coming of modular exam, like test on each module. Then we have 2 parts exam, one is objective type and the other one is descriptive type. Now till now we have all these things together into one paper. Guidelines will be prepared by NCRT in consultation with SCERT, that is State, Boards of Assessment and Parak. What is Parak? We are going to learn about it in the next slide. Beginning with mathematics, all subjects could be offered at 2 levels. That is, it's not that end of the year you are going to give an exam and either you are pass or fail. No, you will be getting 2 chances. One that is yearly board and the second one which is not required, but still if you think that the child is has to go for a retest. Teachers to be prepared for a transformation in the assessment system by the 22-23 academic session. Each school board shall ensure equivalence of academic standards in learners' attainments. Now here the child's focus, and we are going to conduct the exam according to his needs, his wants, and whatever he has attained. So it will be more and more the child based. Standards, norms, and guidelines for school boards through Parak National Center. Now till now we are completely blank, but then there is Parak which will be guiding us. It will be providing us with the norms, the standards that has been set up, and the schools need to follow that. Okay, so now what are the changes that has come? Again, one transformation. Continuous tracking of learning outcome of each child. It's not now that at the end of the year we are going to conduct an exam. So there is a change. Board exams are more flexible with assessment of essential skills. More and more skill-based board exam. Assessment to focus on core concepts, higher order and foundational skills. The attainment of skills is very important, which can be assessed at the end. AI-based software to help track the progress of the students to enable them to make optimal career choices. Now, till now we have seen how the students select their science and commerce. It's basically 2 marks. अच्छा मार्क्स आया तो बेटा तुमको साइंस लेगा, अच्छा मार्क्स नहीं आया तो बेटा तुमको कॉमर्स में जाएगा. So that was the trend till now. Now it needs to be changed. Okay, here the child will decide. He has the right to see whether he is fit, what are his interests, what he can choose. So now this choosing the career is entirely depend upon the child's competency. National Assessment Center (NAC) will help in bringing greater synergy in board exams conducted by various boards of assessment. Now they need to be related, NAC and the other boards. They need to work together to see what the outcome, how the assessment is to be done so that the outcome is beneficial for the child. Self-assessment and peer assessment. So, we say ना कि तुम्हारे बारे में मैं क्या बोलूँ, तुम तो अपने बारे में खुद जानते हो. So here that thing comes. Here the students' self-assessment and the peer assessment. These are friends, they are related, and so there will be assessment by friends and by self also. So here you see we are missing the word teacher here, right? So here students and the peer. The NTA, National Testing Agency, will work to offer a high quality common aptitude test to eliminate the need for taking coaching for these exams. Now there will be one exam which the child needs to go if he wants to go for some higher education or in any field that he is interested in. And so a generous progress card also needs to be designed. How can we give report card when we have just learnt about exams? So the report card has to be redesigned. It has to be holistic. It has to be 360-degree, multi-dimensional report. And it includes self-assessment, peer assessment and teacher's assessment also. And cards reflect the progress. Here you find something unique here. Here it is uniqueness of learner in the cognitive, affective, socio-emotional and psychomotor domains. Means we are going to judge the child in the way in which he is capable. It is said now, one day, one elephant, one fish, one dog, okay, they all stood in a line, and even the tiger. Now, it was the competition that you have to swim. So, again I recall elephant, fish, and monkey, tiger. These 4 animals, they are stood in a line. Why? Because Jungle Ka Raja said that I will be conducting a test. Let me see who is going to be my next. Okay, who is going to be Mera Uttarangari? So he said, okay, fine, all were ready. The tiger thought that I am the best. Elephant said, I am so powerful, मेरे से ज़्यादा कौन होगा? The monkey said, मेरे से चंचल, I can jump from here to there within a minute. And the fish was said, okay, let me just try. So in that way. And the competition was that you have to swim across this lake. So who will be the winner there? Was it okay for the tiger? Was it not a cheating? For the elephant? For the monkey? Right. So here what we are finding in our report card, we are going to see the NEP. We are going to see the individual requirements, the individual changes that has to be learned. Okay. So whatever he has learned, that will be assessed. Progress in project-based and inquiry-based learning, quizzes, role-play, group work, portfolios, etc. to be included in report card. Definitely the report card is going to be in a very exaggerated way. The holistic progress card will actively involve parents in their children's education and development. Now our complaint that कि अरे इसके मम्मी पापा तो बिल्कुल ध्यान नहीं देते, that will be solved. Why? Because the parents are also a part of this report card. AI-based software to be developed to help track growth to school years and to help students make optimal career choices. So we are making use of AI, that is artificial intelligence, and we are guiding the child what his next step can be. So we will be learning more detail in the next